senior Chinese military official urges plan to attack U.S. naval vessels in South China Sea. At a conference held in Beijing, Chinese government and military officials discussed issues in the South China Sea and the current state of relations between the U.S. and China. Chinese media reports that the situation in the South China Sea is expected to grow more intense over the coming year, with one senior military official also declaring that China should be prepared to attack United States naval vessels should the U.S. violate Chinese territorial waters. Dai Zhu, who is president of the Institute of Marine Safety and Cooperation, as well as a PLA Air Force Colonel Commandant, was quoted saying the following: "If the U.S. warships break into Chinese waters again, I suggest that 2 warships should be sent, one to stop it, and another one to ram it in our territorial waters. We will not allow U.S. warships to create disturbance," referring to the increasingly regular freedom of navigation operations or FONOPs being carried out by the United States in the South China Sea. Dai said he could not understand why people in China were afraid of using military force to counter U.S. FONOP activity. Most recently, the U.S. sent 2 naval vessels through the Taiwan Strait 4 days after the Taiwanese elections held in November, which caused alarm among officials in Beijing. South Korea eyes $300 million deal to buy U.S. missiles for Aegis destroyers. South Korea plans to buy dozens of U.S.-built ship-to-air missiles, in an order worth about $300 million, to boost air defenses against North Korea, even as it moves to reduce tension with Pyongyang, Seoul's arms buying agency said. Since 2013, South Korea has bought Standard Missile-2s, developed by Raytheon Company, in installments to equip 3 Aegis destroyers preparing to be deployed in the mid-2020s. It aimed to ramp up the capability to detect and track missiles from the north, as its neighbor developed nuclear programs ultimately targeting the United States in defiance of international sanctions. The latest missile purchase decision by a defense acquisition panel paves the way for delivery of the final batch, an official said. In reconciliation efforts this year, the neighbors clinched a comprehensive military pact at a September summit that aimed to diffuse military tension over their heavily fortified border, but the South has continued to reinforce air defenses, deciding last month to buy 2 Israeli early warning radar systems. In September, the U.S. State Department approved possible military sales worth $2.6 billion to South Korea, including 6 Boeing-made P-8A Poseidon maritime reconnaissance aircraft and 64 Patriot anti-ballistic missile weapons, made by Lockheed Martin Company. Japan's military sees record spending, aims to buy more U.S. arms. Japan's military looks to raise spending over the next 5 years in response to security challenges and to narrow Japan's trade surplus with the United States by buying U.S. equipment, it was reported. The Ministry of Defense looks to spend at least $240 billion between April 2019 and March 2024, with the spending rising an average 1.1% per year, exceeding the 0.8% average during the 5 years ending next March, the report said. Currently, payments on equipment and personnel expenses account for 80% of defense spending, the report said. Under the plan, funds for new equipment purchases will be separated from these expenses, making it easier to buy equipment from the United States. It added, purchases of American-made equipment could help Tokyo ease trade friction with Washington as U.S. President Donald Trump pushes Japan to buy more American goods, including military gear, while threatening to impose tariffs on Japanese auto imports to cut a trade deficit with Tokyo.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you like the channel and want to support, please support on Patreon or PayPal. The details are given below in the description.